the guys out here in Hollister have outdone themselves this year. This is probably the toughest it's ever been.
All the past competitors keep telling us, and the rangers keep telling us, is impassable. They're not going to be satisfied unless they can lose every vehicle in it.
What does it feel like to come back as a judge?
Well, it's a lot easier now because I'm on the other side and we can make it difficult for the new contestants, and it's just a totally different game. It's crazy. Anything to get them stuck.
This is beautiful country. We actually spent a significant amount of time looking for some central location that would be able to give us a wide variety of different terrain. Right in the coastal hills like we're in right now, we have the Hollister Hills State Vehicle Recreation Area. Initially, we just wanted to get together readers to have a good time. And I think over the last 6 years that we've been doing this, that's through no fault of our own, actually happened. But the original idea was to get the toughest, most baddest trucks together and have them compete and finally decide whose truck is best. We have people in Oregon who argue that their mud runners will kill anything that Utah or Colorado has to offer. We have guys in New Jersey who say they have the baddest, trucks in the land. But what we've tried to do here is create a competition where we can get people from around the country to get vehicles that normally would never see each other to a central location where they can compete. And what we have here is a perfect example of everything from New Mexico and Arizona rock buggies to big New Jersey full-size trucks on 44-inch tires to custom. The Scorpion MK1 it defies description until you actually see it work on the trail. But the wide variety here is, I don't know, that's kind of what four-wheeling is all about. There's a million different ways that people can go out and enjoy the environment and enjoy what their four-wheel drive vehicles can do.
We have all kinds of contests here. Which one is your favorite?
Well, it's definitely the tank trap. The tank trap has become the marquee event. It's an amazing sight and something that I have a hard time expressing. Every time I walk up and down it, I can't believe we're doing it. And yet, every year, someone surprises us and drives right through it. So it's really something that I enjoy watching. I think it says a lot. It's completely original. There's no such thing as an uphill mud bog, but that's really what it is.
Introduce me to your truck.
I have a 1967 International Scout, the 93 Trans Am LT1 350.
Now, how far back do you and the Scout go, and what condition did you originally get the truck in?
It took me about 2 years to build it. We got out of my dad's field. Started from there. I got 2 kids, and the Corvette got too little, so I needed something else to play in the woods with, and this is our daily driver.
So this is a second-generation car. Did your dad have it?
I got the job.
Some of the suspension's been changed, but you'll have to introduce me to the suspension changes you made and why you chose to do it for your area of the country.
I put a Dana 60 one-ton front axle in it, and rear axle's a Dana 70. Playing in the mud in the woods, I won't have to worry about breaking axles and get the family home safe and pull the big loads.
Now that you've built one like this, what's the key to being able to build a truck like this for this kind of fun, but still have it as a daily driver?
Just keep it a reasonable size, I guess.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. I thought, how can you tear up a Land Rover?
I bought it to play with, and I bought it to modify. That's the point.
How far did you tear it down?
Actually, so far not bad. Suspension's redone. Just put a supercharger on the engine. Lot of thick steel in the bumpers, front and rear, on the side sills. So when I hit rocks, it bounces off rather than denting. That's kind of about it.
You mentioned that you redid the suspension. You have to play with the streetability factor. How much did you play?
Actually, not that bad. It rides fairly nice in the street. It's a little bit, the center of gravity is a lot taller, so you have to be careful on curves. But no, it rides really nice.
Talk about the engine a little bit. You didn't mention it a lot, but you said you did some work there.
Yeah, it's pretty much stock, except for it has a supercharger on it. It adds about 70 horsepower, maybe 70 pound-feet of torque.
Now, is that enough? This has got to be a very heavy vehicle. Is that enough power, another 70 horses?
Yeah, because it's geared low, and it's, you know, the idea is not to be a speedster out here. I built it for the narrow California trails, and actually a lot of horsepower on those trails means you usually end up breaking stuff. So it's like a 255 now, which is more than enough.
What all did you do? How far did you strip this thing down?
This was a fire recovery from insurance. It was a wreck. The whole front of the truck was burned down. The inside was burnt out. It was a fuel-injected 88 with 700 R4 and half tons. It was all stock, 110,000 miles. So I bought it off the insurance company, stripped everything down, took the body off the frame, stripped all the lines out, brake lines, fuel lines, everything, and then started putting it back together with the components I had from my last trucks. And as I was putting it together, I upgraded some things. I put lockers front and rear in the truck. Everything's painted underneath. I have 30-degree opposing ladder bars in the back to keep the axle from wrapping up and blowing shafts. Drive shaft tubes for the front and back of the rear drive shaft. It's got a 557 horsepower Pat Musey Racing big block in it, 566 foot-pounds of torque. The transmission was done by All-Star Transmission in Haledon, New Jersey for me. A good friend of mine, Chris, set it up, and that's been holding up real well for me.
Now, you mentioned the engine just in passing and said that it was a racing engine. I'm anxious to find out more about it.
Well, it's a Pat Musey Racing. It's based on an LS6 Mercruiser block. It's for steel crank, 4-bolt main. It's got Manley rods in it, Merlin oval port heads, oversized valves. He did a lot of massage work to the heads. It's a Wiend intake, no work done to that, just other than gasket matching. It's got a Pat Musey Prep 750 double pumper on it. It's only it's a 9-to-1 compression motor, so I can run it on any fuel, but it's full roller, 610 lift cam, roller rockers. I got a lot of time in it, but I like the interior I'm still working on, and the exterior's got to get cleaned again as far as wet sanding and buffing. But the interior I'm putting back together because that was all fire damaged, so I'm going through junkyards and stuff for parts like that, trying to keep it as cheap as I can. Yeah, drive it every day. It's my daily driver back and forth to work.
What makes your Jeep so flexible?
Well, it's we start out with basically stock Wrangler springs, which makes them real flexible. They're not real stiff. You got a 3/4 lipstick in the rear.
Right here what we have is a goofy leaf, that's what we call it, and it's attached up here. So when the suspension drops, it lets this spring actually drop like that, and it's double shackled front and rear, and it just lets it go wherever it needs to. And we've got a swivel up here that will actually let the spring pivot with the axle when the axle changes angles. And pretty much the 4-link system holds everything in place. If you didn't have that, the rear end would just go anywhere it wanted to.
And also put pivots on the axle to let the spring flex and pivot on the axle. So that and a lot of luck and getting everything in the right spot, you know, they twist up pretty good.
You went with a lot different tire size than some of the other guys, especially in the back. Tell me the story behind that.
I wanted to get away with the 48-inch tires. Like on the street, it's a compromise. In our state laws, I wanted to put the tire inside the wheel wells. To put 48-inch tall tires is why I took the special suspension and frame modification to put in it.
Now, talk about the region. You mentioned the state that you drive in. Where are you from, and what kind of terrain do you encounter on a regular basis?
Well, I'm from southern Wisconsin, where we see everything from the rolling hills of the moraine parks to deep sand and, of course, the deep mud. And the mud is what I really designed the truck for.
How did you design that into this? I mean, I know there's a number of ways you can set up a truck. What did you do and why?
Well, I put a variable height suspension in from inside the cab. I can control the riding height of the vehicle, and that way I can raise the chassis, the driveline, up for deep water, or drop it down for a soft, smooth ride, or drop it all the way down for police encounters.
So is that one of the secrets then to making this a really streetable ride?
Well, more than less. The air rides give me a high lift and yet a compliant ride, and that was the big compromise.
But what about the gauges and all the work you've done inside?
Well, the gauges are Frenched in autometers. It's full complement to cover all the operating temperatures of the fluids, the oils, the water temperature, even the air pressure and the automatic transmission operating pressures.
You know, I think the only thing that I didn't ask you about was the power plant. What makes it go?
The motor is a port fuel injected, alloy headed, nitrous oxide assisted big block Chevrolet, just your standard Suburban engine. And it's been going back to a Hydra 400 automatic transmission and a 205 all gear transfer case.
Did you ever get how many horses are under the hood?
I'm pulling 525 without the nitrous oxide and about 250 more with the nitrous oxide.
Spend more time under it or in it?
I hope. Recently, I've been really lucky in getting away with spending more time in it than under it.
You bought it in 1983 and what?
It was just a street-driven truck until 1983, and I bought it and did modifications throughout the years, drove it on the road for many years, and then it's been in this form for the last 3-4 years, and off-road it heavily.
Yeah, so this is not just a show truck, this is a go truck.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about the motors. This is, I know it's a 427. Tell me about the history of the motor, where you got it from. It certainly didn't come in the truck.
No, it's a 427 Ford motor. Guy I bought it from, used it for truck pulling at one time. Also, these 427s are used for oval track racing. Got modern roller rockers and other parts inside to make it durable. Turn about 7 to 100 RPM and it's about 600 horsepower.
You get a lot of offers for that motor.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the major modifications you've done to the truck. I know you could talk for 10 years over this, but just give me the big stuff that you've done over the years.
The big stuff is the 4-link coil suspension. Took out the stock configuration coil suspension in the front and did the same thing in the back. Took the leaf springs out of the back. Differentials are Dana 60s. The rears have got better axles in as well as the fronts. The cab is a Southern cab that was not rusted out when I got it. The tilt front end, aluminum box sides, PTO winch, several things.
So give me a typical weekend with you in your truck. You take your Ford and you go out in the middle of nowhere. Where do you go and how far do you go out and how long do you stay?
Quite often we go onto the pipeline in Wisconsin, stay for a 2 or 3 day weekend. Get stuck several times usually.
A second ago we were talking about the front bumper. I know you manufacture that yourself. How many chassis pieces did you make?
Basically, I took a Jeep Wrangler frame and I've had to shorten it up and narrow it to fit this body. We use a lot of Jeep Wrangler stuff like the fender flares, the rear end, the front ends, all off the Wrangler. Basically, the only thing that Samurai left is the body.
Yeah, why the Suzuki body? Why did you choose this style?
This is my 5th Samurai I've had, and I like the body and it's different.
So did you put the entire cage in as well?
Yes, the whole cage. Built that.
What about the suspension? What kind of work did you do to it, and how far did you modify the original setup?
Well, I took a set of Wrangler springs, Jeep Wrangler springs, and added an extra leaf to them to make it a little stronger. I added a goofy leaf to the frame to give it more drop on the articulation. And that's basically all I did with suspension.
You've chosen to go with a smaller tire than some guys, but you've got a really aggressive tread on it. Explain your choice.
The reason I went with 33-inch tires is because the articulation, if I had anything bigger, they hit the fenders, they rub a lot of stuff, and these seem to work the best with my gearing and all the gearing I have set up for it. So,
what did you choose for a power plant?
I have a Chevy 4.3 fuel injection engine.
Is it fairly stock?
It's all stock.
Dream a little bit. Tell me what you want to do to this vehicle, or have you arrived now?
I'm pretty close. I think I'm going to do a little work to the rear suspension. That's about it, really.
Does it see much action on the street at all? Where do you go?
I don't drive it on the street very often. It's mainly used for off-road only.
And where do you take it?
I go to the Rubicon all the time. I go there probably 10 times a year. I live fairly close to it, so it's my closest, funnest trail we have. So,
tell me about the story about how you built this thing. Especially tell me how you compressed it into such a small amount of time.
We decided that we were going to build this vehicle. A partner of mine had this idea for years of something he wanted to build that pivoted and articulated, but was completely different, didn't have springs, leaf springs, coil springs, whatever, because you're always unloading and loading them, and you're always losing ground pressure on one or more of the tires. So what we did was he talked me into it, and I told him, okay, I'll pay for it and I'll help you build it if you can do it. He's like, well, I'm not going to guarantee that it will work, but he said, we'll build it. And then I asked him, and this was 3 weeks before Moab, 2.5 actually, and he was like, can we have it done by Moab? And he made the mistake of telling me that he could build faster than I could spend. So we built this vehicle in 2.5 weeks, and virtually like you see it now.
Now, what did you choose for a power plant and drivetrain?
We chose just a stock 350 with a 700 R4 tranny from Art Car, the new Advanced Adapters Atlas transfer case. Dana 44 in the front, Dana 60 in the rear end with 456 gears, an ARB locker in the rear, and a Detroit in the front.
With a stock 350, was weight a concern when you were building?
Weight was a big concern. We wanted to keep it light as possible, and make it as agile as possible. But at the same time, you have to have some amount of weight to it, or else you can't keep enough pressure anywhere. And the way it works, everything articulates off of this main frame. So there's a little bit of weight, but it's about what we wanted it to be. So it's probably somewhere between 3,000, 3,200 pounds, like you see it now.
When you go back and you look at what you did so far as chassis flex and keeping your wheels on the ground, are you happy with the way the chassis perform?
I'm more than happy. It outperforms and does everything more than what I thought it would do. When we got on the ramp earlier today, I didn't know it was going to ramp 1,000. That's the first true ramp I've been on. So yeah, it has outlived everything that we thought it would do.
Now, does that kind of technology and think work going into the chassis and the drivetrain that you have set up make this an easier or more difficult drive for you, and especially for a novice driver?
For the average everyday driver, it's wonderful. It makes it just super easy. There is no body roll whatsoever to the vehicle. So it handles, if you put street radials on it, it would handle like a sports car. My mother actually loves to drive this vehicle. Or so she says anyway.
It looks good.
Well, thank you very much.
I've noticed amongst the competitors that they'll help each other out. They all want to win, but it's not a competition at night.
If you make the field at Top Truck Challenge, you're a winner. I mean, remember, you already got picked out of hundreds of applicants and thousands of vehicles around the country. So just being here, you're a winner.
Last year, Charles, one vehicle made it to the tank trap, and you said it was impossible to get through, and a few of them made up the hill. What did you do this year to stump them?
This year here, instead of filling the first tank trap and letting the water overflow into the next, we built the tank traps and filled them individually. So they're deeper and longer, and they have more of a tabletop, so they won't get high-centered in the middle.
The staff here at Hollister Hills takes it personally when their course is too easy. And indeed, we work very closely with them. Trucks are getting better. The course has to get tougher. So yes, we've upped the ante year after year after year, and we think that that's appropriate. We do want to stop most vehicles, as outstanding as these vehicles are, and we think we may have the 10 best four-wheel drives in the country, or certainly among those. As good as these vehicles are, we want to find ways to stop most of them in any given event. But they got to separate the men from the boys.
Welcome to the premier event at Top Truck Challenge. This is what everybody's been looking forward to or dreading. I mean, this is as good as it gets. It's all downhill from here.
This is a killer event. It has steep uphills, mud bogs that are 4 feet deep, off-camber sections. If anybody makes it through, it's going to be a miracle.
And you know, Tom, they designed this specifically so that no one would make it through. That was the entire idea. In fact, the Top Truck Challenge editors decided that they want everybody to have to winch their way through. Going to make it through it all, so see what happens. You know, you seem to be in sort of a relaxed mode. I mean, you got the stereo going here.
We're relaxing, getting ready to go play and have some good fun.
Is there some kind of a disadvantage maybe to being first in line?
The water holes are going to be a lot deeper.
Serious advantage to going first, because after we get through there's going to be some really deep holes after we get through tearing it up, and anybody that gets through here before anyone else is going to have a definite advantage.
Are you ready for this, Cody?
Yeah.
Are you sure? You looking forward to it?
Yeah.
You know this water's deeper than you are tall.
I can swim.
Okay, well look, guys, we're gonna let you get going. Any nervousness at all?
No.
Yeah.
Mixed reactions. Hit it, guys.
2, 1, go! The winch remote fell out. Can we air it up and start over?
Well, that didn't take long. The very first competitor out into the tank trap goes 10 feet down into the tank trap, hits the berm on the left side, and blows a tire just like that. Talk about bad luck. They wanted as quickly as they could to come back, start over, and re-air it, but once the clock starts, you're in the tank trap, and you're not coming out unless you get out yourself.
What happened out there?
We run through a rut and knocked a tire off a bead.
How are you going to rectify it, and tell us about the bead locks and all that?
We didn't have any bead locks. Bead locks are illegal on street vehicles in Missouri, so all we can have
So the tank trap got you early.
Got us early.
Check out this mud hole. Looks like this guy drove here on an accident. Nope. This is the Top Truck Challenge. This is four-wheel hell. And these are my boys, Team We Race Farm Equipment. First mud hole at the famed tank trap.
Exactly. Yeah, they did come prepared.
Chance of that cable breaking.
It's always that possibility, but never know till it breaks.
Cover yourself.
I'm more worried about that tree coming down, to be honest with you.
What's happening?
Though successful wenching kept the Scout on course, it became evident that the mishap at the start had simply eaten up too much time. The Scout persevered, but it was too late. The tank trap had claimed its first victim.
Tell me what you think happened.
I don't know. We lost power somehow.
Think this from overheating?
No, it wasn't overheating. This radiator was all wet. We run about 200 degrees. That's when the thermostat opens while steam was. 2 deep cycle batteries wasn't enough.
One down, 7 to go as Richard Larson and his Defender 90 took to the course. He had better luck at the start, able to maneuver past the opening rut. Unsure of what may lie ahead, the team proceeded with caution as they made their way into the twisting mouth of the tank trap.
Tell me what the idea was once you almost made it through here.
Well, not really. I never got over this bump. And then my front air beeline went. But we figured we'd have to winch. So we brought along what's basically a plow that digs itself in. It just doesn't look like the soil here is strong enough to support the vehicle with the plow that's pulling out. So we're gonna have to try a different tactic, maybe find a tree.
Okay, look up.
Can you jump out of this and then through the next one with one winch?
I don't know. Don, I'm going backward. Don, I'm going backward.
I know it's charging, but there's nothing in the battery. So we just run it for a while, let it charge, and then maybe we can get a couple of feet.
Yeah.
We do that for 10 minutes, we might get to the top.
Yeah. Tell me what the strategy is from here and kind of break it down for me as basically as you can what your problem is now.
The problem is that my alternator isn't charging up the batteries because we got a little bit of mud in it yesterday. And so I'm not going to be able to winch out of this. At least I don't think I will be. So probably we're going to end up just cleaning up and backing down because we only have a couple minutes left. But we'll give it one or two more tries. We're going to let it sit for a couple minutes, see if it charges up, see what happens.
Trying to get up this thing, did you get at least the winch point that you wanted?
It looks like we did eventually, but probably too late.
Wait, is the winch pulling the battery down to an extreme edge, or is that mainly just alternator problem?
It's alternator problems, yeah. If the alternator is working, we'd be fine.
Well, we'll wait and see. Good luck.
Hey, thank you.
What's the scoop?
We're calling it.
Are you?
Right now, I think I can get down fairly easily. And the engine's running, and if we try it much harder, I think I'm going to burn out the batteries and make a real mess of getting out of here.
So the alternator was terminal?
Alternator's terminal. Well, probably repairable, but not today.
Thanks, Rick. You're the number 3 guy out. Is that like a good thing or a bad thing? Would you rather be toward the end?
Hell no.
Why?
Because then it's going to get dark. I'm going to be out there longer. It's going to get colder. Everything's going to be sloppy. It could be good if somebody with real big tires like Quagmire goes ahead of me. Then he makes it all the way through the holes. He can excavate all the water like an impeller pump. That would be pretty cool.
Hey, talk about, you know, you're standing here, you videotape and stuff. You watch this guy go down 10 feet and bang, he loses something. Does that make you more nervous?
Oh, no, not more nervous. My stomach's already twisted, knotted, and there's stuff crawling around there that shouldn't be there. So no worse than I was before.
Where do you really think you're going to hit your first big problem? We're looking at the first segment right now into the first turn. Is that going to be a difficulty already?
For me, it is. I'm wider than he is, and I'm taller than he is. So it's going to be a real problem, I think, for my truck. I don't know if I'm going to make it past where he was just stuck.
After an unsuccessful climb on the first mud pit, the big Chevy took some time to ponder the situation. But without a winch, the only thing to do was back up and try again.
Our boy from Jersey's giving it a good try, but he has a couple of problems. For one, his posi tractions. What, not so posi? Notice only one tire's spinning. That's not gonna work. Also, he doesn't even have a winch. But he's not giving up, he's trying, and he's still stuck down in the first mud hole.
As the minutes ticked on, it became clear that the Blazer wasn't getting out of the first mud hole, not without a winch. That did it for the Jersey mud boggart. No winch, no way out.
Well, that wasn't very encouraging.
No, not at all. I'm just be glad to get this over with. I'm not really looking forward to it, but we're going to give it all we got and see what happens.
What are the relative advantages and or disadvantages to your particular vehicle on this challenge?
Well, I'm not quite as tall as a lot of the guys, so the water give me a lot of problems. I should do good, you know, like through the cracks and stuff, because I have a lot of articulation, and it should work pretty good.
Nervous?
Kinda, yeah. Just not really nervous, just anxious to get it over with. You know, more anxiety than anything else.
Now, what's your role in all this?
I'm the winch.
Okay, well, we're gonna drop it cold with that, thanks.
Like the others before him, Epperly in the CJ5 found the first mud hold a bit overwhelming. With zero traction in the gooey pit, winching was the only way out.
Welcome to the first mud hole. We told you they were nasty. We've got, how many, what do we say, 5, 6? 6 of them. 6 mud. This is the first one. He just got through it. It's 3 to 4 feet deep in the center. Once you get through the water, though, then you got to try to take wet tires and get up the hill. And it's taken him quite a long time. In fact, this truck wouldn't have made it through at all if he hadn't winched his way out about 5 minutes ago.
The canyon-like terrain was definitely taking its toll on the Jeep. However, smart winching by co-driver/girlfriend Candy Cohout kept the CJ5 in forward progress. But sometimes, winching becomes a two-person job, and Epperly was quick to the task. Winch power alone took the Arizona Jeep through the 4th mud bog, but with time running out, it quickly became a doomed mission.
We're just going to do the best we can today.
So do you look at this and think, oh man, this is a killer, this makes me more nervous, or is it kind of a fluke that you don't worry about?
Right now, with the beginning here, I'm really not worried. Perhaps maybe later on, my anxiety will be higher, but really not worried about the beginning.
Okay. Hey, thanks.
You bet.
Quagmire put the big Agra tires to good use, blasting through the first mud hole, and kept it going from there. He appeared to have made it through the second mud hole without a winch, but a deep rut under his front tire made it impassable. Much to his chagrin, the Quagmire was forced back into the muck for a winch out. Niebuhr's co-driver, Rick Schmidt, proved invaluable on the course, guiding the Chevy through the wicked terrain.
Okay, they make
I couldn't imagine a road like it. This is something else. Somebody said that it's a four-wheeler's nightmare. It's a fact. This is outstanding. I've never seen a road like this. Ready? See, this is a county road?
Well, yeah. Should have joined the Army.
The team worked hard to get the large-bodied truck through the course, but time ran out after the fourth mud hole. Too far in to back out. Quagmire decided to finish the course come hell or high water, and both stood in his way.
Run away, run away!
Mike proving once again, not all the big stuff rocks from Texas. Wisconsin, we're talking right here. Hey, not too many people are gonna make it up that thing.
That was a nightmare. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It was grand. So I had a lot of help guiding around the ditches, but I made it up.
What did you think of the obstacle?
Obstacles? The whole thing is an obstacle. I shouldn't even have been there. But I made it and I'm happy.
Unfortunately, you timed out, but you still got to continue on because it would have been a horror show to go backwards. You get to see the rest of the course.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to see what the rest of the course was. And it was, after the midway point, it was a lot easier. Yeah, I got a broken mirror here. But I think the broken mirror is really the least of the problem.
Pass the mic to your co-driver. We want to hear some words from him.
My name's Rick Schmidt, Madison, Wisconsin. Glad to be his co-pilot. Glad he asked me along. Wouldn't miss it for anything, Mike. Wow. Four-wheeling. Be all you can be.
We just want to know your thoughts when you were watching Mike bring the Quagmire up through the infamous tank trap.
My thoughts, I was terrified, I was excited, I couldn't wait for him to get through. He got further than anybody else, and that counts for a lot, and the smile on his face counts for even more.
One of them just made it, so at least you know it can be done. Do you know the secret, or were you up there watching?
I wasn't up there watching, but the secret is drive sensibly, and we're going to definitely have to do some winching, and just do some smart winching, and try and make the truck live and get to the end.
You know, a couple of guys tried to winch with a plow, and it didn't seem to work at all. Which are you going to try, plow or a tree, or what?
I'll definitely try a tree.
Yeah, will horsepower mean anything? I mean, I know you've got a ton of it here, but is it going to help you that much?
On some of the hills where I do have traction, horsepower will definitely help.
Okay, well, you're going to throw a lot of mud, so I'll get out of the way. Good luck.
Thank you.
The first trap proved tough for the rodent exterminator, but Joling was convinced that with the proper angle, he could get through. The second bog proved equally challenging, and this time the team decided to winch. The wide-bodied Ford took a pounding in the off-camber sections, and it appeared the sheer girth of the vehicle would be its demise.
Just another trail ride in Wisconsin. Oh, California.
Loading up. Huh? Loading up. Not bad.
The team tried everything to get through the narrow ravine, but the clock was ticking and frustration, coupled with exhaustion, seemed to have gotten the best of them. Another competitor falls to the sadistic tank trap.
It's a rough course. I don't know how that Suzuki ever made it. I'd like to see that. I'm sure I'll see it on the video.
What killed you guys on your run?
Tough terrain. The truck can do it. We just tough terrain.
What ultimately stopped you here?
Time. If we had all the time we want, we'd make it, no problem. But time factor is what gets you. 30 minutes for a 3-hour trail.
Last second thoughts before you head out.
I don't like what I've heard.
What have you heard?
Deep ravines.
Are you worried about body damage or just trying to make it as far as you can right now?
I'm not worried about body damage or anything. I just want to try to get as far as I can.
You got 30 minutes. If you have a strength with this particular style of vehicle, what would it be?
My winch.
Strong battery?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's taking out a couple of guys. You know, the winch drains so much.
Yeah, I got dual batteries in here. One for the winch only.
That's not cheating.
No.
Okay, well good luck.
Thank you.
Efficient teamwork got the Samurai through the first mud bog in good time. The vehicle's lightweight worked to their advantage as the winch easily pulled them through. But Williamson knew there was plenty more where that came from. With the time factor weighing heavily on their minds, the two worked like a well-oiled machine, setting the winch for the second mud bog. After successfully getting through, co-driver Randy Humphreys helped guide Williamson and the Suzuki along the treacherous trail. The small body size enabled the Samurai to sneak through crevices which had disabled the larger vehicles. A combination of winching know-how and good old-fashioned hustle put the Samurai in position to become the first vehicle to possibly get through the tank trap in the allotted time. The team packed the winch and set sail for the finish line.
Yeah, 3/4 of the course, and the crowd is going wild for the boys in the white samurai. That's what we like to see. Big air. Yeah, buddy! Show 'em what you got!
The final mud bog was nearly 5 feet deep, and Williamson took his Samurai in head first. With a strong winch and a little luck, they could still defeat the mighty tank trap.
Teamwork, come on! Can't find it.
The winch seemed to have plenty of juice as the little Samurai that could emerged from the mire. With roughly 5 minutes left, the team did what they could to complete the trail.
Hey, Tim, we just see that water draining out the exhaust. Keep trying to tap on the starter. Oh, wait. Look. Winch is still good. Yeah, wait. You still got winch. What happened?
Okay, in the last mud hole, what's actually happened to the car is it ingested water and it's hydrolocked. So they're going to have to try to make this on winch power alone.
A mere 50 yards from the finish line, Father Time got the best of them.
That's it. Yeah. All right. Great job, guys. 3-wheel drive and everything. You got this far, further than anybody else within time.
I got a big winch.
And you also have a good partner.
Yeah. It was a lot of work. A lot of work running up this hill. But it was worth it.
Well, everybody else comes through here with big tires, high horsepower. You have a totally different approach. How do you make this little car work so well?
It's real light. Light and easy. You get a winch to pull it over anything. And keep the gas at a certain throttle. Don't let it over rev and spin the tires. You don't get no traction with the tire spinning. Just have patience.
Well, you did a great job. It's really impressive to get this far. You have to be happy to get here.
Yeah, I'm happy. I've been a little happier about 50 yards up though. But this is good enough.
Well, this back left tire is almost flat. But you know, you already ran an event and won it with a completely flat tire, so I'm thinking that's some kind of strategy.
Hopefully I'll get better traction.
And when you know, I just thought about this. The water's been splashed out by a number of people, and I think the water level may be lower. Have you thought about that?
I hope so. I hope that's the case. Maybe I can stay dry. I doubt it, but maybe.
What is going to be your strategy? You try to climb the walls? I mean, drive up here mentally for me.
Try and stay out of the middle, stay on one side or the other, and try and get at least one side of the vehicle possibly on some kind of hard ground to maybe get a bite off of it. The middle of it probably is just like a bottomless pit. So
now, I would think, though, that with your low center of gravity that you might be able to use that to your advantage.
Yeah, hopefully. I can crawl up a wall, I hope a lot more, and not have to worry about rolling over or getting tipsy.
It has been done. We have sent one guy all the way through. Are you number 2? Can you do it?
I hope so. Maybe if luck's on my side.
Okay, we're watching.
Thank you.
Last mud hole, deep. Get the scuba equipment on. Do the Titanic thing. We'll see you at the top.
All right.
Good luck.
Scorpion at the start line. 3, 2, 1, go.
It's the first mud pit in the tank trap, and it's a nasty one. This is one of 6, okay? It goes down about 3, maybe 4 feet. You come up this incline, splat right into it. Now, I want you to look at the left rear tire. See that huge hole behind it? That's what's keeping the Scorpion from getting up the hill. So let's take a look and see if he makes it.
With the second mud bog out of the way, the Scorpion was poised to battle the menacing course, but instantly runs into trouble with a deep rut. Biggs decided to back his vehicle up and let the winch do the work, and then there. Co-driver Kevin Kelly got into a tangle with a tree, but ultimately emerged the victor as the Scorpion successfully winched past the rut, then continued on its course with patience and control. The soupy ruts wreaked havoc on the vehicle, but rather than trying to blast through, Biggs took his time to find the right angle of approach. Once again, patience and control paid off. The Scorpion fared well in the following mud pits as Biggs was able to power the MK1 through several in a row without winching. Time was on their side, and the Scorpion was in position to be the first competitor to defeat the sinister trail. But there was one last obstacle to contend with, and the tank trap was going to let him have it full force.
Well, we hope that he didn't hydrolock the motor, but the guys are getting out there. It's going to be a winch job to the finish. Do you think you hydrolocked the motor?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think we just kind of drowned it out, didn't have enough back, exhaust pressure and stuff, but hopefully we got enough battery power to pull us on through this thing.
Well,
so close.
If you're efficient with the winch, you can win this thing.
If we got enough battery left.
All you need to get is about 30 yards.
Well, we're trying.
The air was charged as Biggs was able to refire the Scorpion's engine. To the amazement of the staff and spectators, it appeared the mighty tank trap may have finally met its match. Pumped on adrenaline, the team packed the wench for a mad dash to the finish line.
How much time do I have?
Yeah, boy. Hey, right there, Heath Biggs and the boys from the Scorpion team. First ones to make it in under 30 minutes up the dreaded tank trap. That's it. This was Top Truck Challenge. Look at all the people running up. Tell me the spectators aren't stoked on this. How cool was that?
Excellent, man.
Yeah, that's enough out of you. Let's go talk to the boys. Hey, real quick. We're gonna block the other guy off. Look out! Man, first time. First ones in under 30 minutes.
I'd rather be lucky than good.
Hey, what did I tell you, though? Did I tell you you could do it?
Yeah, you told me you thought I could.
How was the teamwork thing?
I thought it worked pretty well. It was pretty good that time. We finally got the right line we wanted and everything worked, and it just clicked. But we got a heck of a vehicle.
Suggestion? The event's over in my mind. Have an adult beverage. Relax, you've done good. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Well, Kevin, you've been part of this team keeping the truck together the whole time. How's it feel to be the first to finish the tank trap?
Oh, that's a blast. It's a little damp and cold, but hey, other than that, it's fun.
Did you get a little nervous when you went swimming and the snorkel went under?
No, I was just trying to not suck in too much water while I was finding my seatbelt so I could get free. But it wasn't too bad.
The water was over your head, though.
It was getting close. I was holding myself up a little bit, that's for sure.
Unlike a lot of the other vehicles here, you haven't had a lot of mechanical problems, have you?
No, luck as much as anything, but it is built pretty sturdy. So, yeah, knock wood, it held together for us.
Well, somebody finally did it, and it was her fiance. Lisa, you got to be, I think it was the kiss. You know what, all the way at the bottom.
That's what they say. That's what he believes anyway. He thinks that was a good luck charm. So.
Well, he got another one when he was done, too.
He'll get a lot more after this, I'm sure.
Heath Biggs, along with co-driver Kevin Kelly in the Scorpion MK1, take it all in the tank trap with 100 points. After finishing a heartbreaking 50 yards from the finish line, the Suzuki Samurai, helmed by Tim Williamson, comes in second with 85 points. And there's the final standings for unquestionably the most challenging and treacherous off-road trail known to man, and every four-wheeler's nightmare, the chassis-chopping tank trap.
Son of a...